right. And I will go ahead and work off my other little sheet here just as we get going. All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the virtual college exploration session. A few housekeeping items as we start today. This event is sponsored by New Jersey Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thanks so much for joining us. During today's webinar, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. The chat function is disabled. Also, your camera and microphone are off. So the panelists can't see or hear you. You do need to use that Q&A button. This is just one of many different sessions that are happening this week, so be sure to check out the full schedule. You can do that at njacac.org/virtual-fair. Also, this presentation and all of the others are being recorded. You can find that at the same website, njacac.org/virtual-fair. And I am now going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to our presenters today.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jordan Loeb, so I'm one of the admissions counselors at DeSales University. I primarily work with students coming from North Jersey, so that's Mercer and Middlesex County and everything above them. So if you're from that area, I'll be your admissions counselor, and if you need, you can always reach out to me.
And hello, everybody. My name is Brendan Graham. I'm also an admissions counselor from DeSales. I'm also a recent grad. I graduated in 2019, and I work with students from South Jersey, so that's considered Monmouth County down at DeSales. So if you need anything or have any questions, I'm the guy you want to go to.
All right, so we'll go ahead. I'm going to start sharing my screen just so you can see our presentation. Okay. So, Brendan, can you see this?
Yes, yes, I can see it. So.
All right, good deal. We'll get started.
All right. So the first thing we want to talk about today is our motto at DeSales University, which is be who you are and be that well. DeSales University, for those of you who may not know, is actually named after St. Francis de Sales, who was a 15th, 16th century French bishop. And he was very big on kind of the simple life and simple philosophy of be yourself and only worry about the present. You can't change the past. You can't control the future. So be who you are now in that moment and be it to the best of your ability. And at DeSales, it's something that's lived and breathed by everyone on campus, whether you're a staff member or you're, the administrator, you're an administrator, you're a faculty member, you're a teacher. Really doesn't matter who you are, no matter who you interact with, they're going to know you by your name, not by a number. Also at DeSales, we want you to grow academically, of course. We want you to go out and be very successful and be the best lawyer, be the best police officer, be the best history teacher that you can be. But we also want you to grow professionally and personally as well.
And then just a little more about kind of what the school is overall. So we have about 1,700 undergraduate students. Total population at DeSales, we're closer to 3,000 when you include in graduate students and adult students, different things like that. But the undergrad population where you guys are going to be is 1,700. We have students coming from 26 different states, and they come as far away as Hawaii and as close as a mile down the road. So we're really all over the place across the United States and internationally. We do have international students here at DeSales, primarily coming from Ireland, but we have students from Australia that come, from China that come. So again, all over the place. And keeping with national stats, our breakdown gender-wise is about 58% female, 42% male.
So Jordan just talked a little bit about kind of where we were within the nation, but I want to talk about a little bit where we are in our region, the Mid-Atlantic region. So DeSales University is located in the Lehigh Valley, it's known as. It's actually the the largest metropolitan area behind Philadelphia and Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. So there is plenty of things to do in our area, and we're actually in a really good spot. Some people think we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I highly disagree with that because we are 2 hours south of New York City from Philadelphia, and that's only about an hour away from DeSales University. We're 3 hours north of Washington, D.C. We're also right by the Jersey Shore, so all you coming from Jersey, if you want to go home and visit the shore, only 2.5 hours to get there. Also, right in our backyard is Allentown, which is a hustle and bustling city, which is about over 100,000 people. There's big businesses there, restaurants, shopping malls, things to do, plenty of restaurants to eat at, as well as Bethlehem, which is a historic city And that is very good if you want to walk down Main Street, maybe again go to a restaurant, you want to go to the mall, or just kind of explore a little bit of the history of the Lehigh Valley. A lot of it takes place in Bethlehem. And again, you can hop on a highway on the weekend at DeSales University, north, south, east, west, and you can explore the East Coast a little bit.
So like Brendan said, we do have a lot of opportunities both on our campus and around our local area. But for anybody interested in going abroad, we have a lot of programs for that as well. Obviously, unfortunately, not now with COVID, but once we're able to get the pandemic under control, we do hope to start these programs back up again. So our big one is studying abroad, where you study abroad in another country for a full 3-month semester. At DeSales, we have no additional expense for our students other than a plane ticket. So as long as you can pay for the plane ticket, you can study abroad. All of your scholarships go with you and everything like that. All of our study abroad locations are listed there on the left. The big one for us is Rome. That's kind of our flagship study abroad location. Students who study abroad in Rome have the opportunity to intern with the Vatican. So you get to work with the Pontifical Council, put that on your resume, which is a really good opportunity, a good networking opportunity as well. We do have international internships available in other places as well, but like I said, Rome's the big one. We also offer spring break trips. They're done through our Student Engagement and Leadership Office, and they go all over Europe. So I know last year they went to Florence, Venice, and Rome. They've gone to Paris, to Geneva, to London. They've really gone all over the place, and it happens over spring break, so you don't miss any class time, which is nice. We have service trips as well. So our community service office, they will do domestic service trips and international ones. Over spring break, they'll typically go somewhere in Central America, and then over the summer, they flip-flop between South Africa and India. We have hybrid courses for our students where you spend the full semester on campus learning in a classroom, and then there is an international component to it. So I know my senior year, there's a food science class where students took this biology class, learned about the molecular makeup of different foods, then they went to Scotland for a week and got to live what they learned by eating all the Scottish food, so they definitely enjoyed it. And then we do have international athletic trips as well. So all of our varsity sports teams will travel at some point over the course of 4 years. So every varsity student will get to compete internationally.
So now coming back home to DeSales campus, we want to talk a little bit about our demographics on campus. So our average class size is around 20 students. Some classes may get a little bit bigger than that due to the fact that maybe it's a gen ed course that a lot of different students have to take, or it's a class that a lot of different majors need to have. My biggest class when I was a student was 45 students, and we weren't in a big lecture hall like you see in the movies. So you're going to have personalized attention from your faculty and from your teachers. The Academic Resource Center, or as we call it, the ARC, the ARC, is located in the basement of Tooling Hall, which is our main academic building. And they actually provide free peer and professional tutoring for all students. So whether you're a straight A student, or maybe you need a little extra help, if you want to go to tutoring once a week, if you want to go every single day, it's available to you. And those peer tutors actually had the class, earned an A in the class, and were recommended by the faculty. So you know that they know the right study habits and they know the information. Also in the ARC, there is a writing center, so you can take your essays down there and they can reread it for spelling, grammar, formatting to make sure you're not getting points taken off for little mistakes. Our student-faculty ratio is exceptional. For every 12 students, there's one faculty member. And what that translates to is having a faculty advisor in your major. So if you're a mathematics major, you're going to have a math professor who's going to help you schedule classes for your major. You're not going to have someone from criminal justice who doesn't know when your classes run or what classes you may need to graduate advising you. You're going to have someone who you'll have in class who knows your first name, your last name, who cares about you academically and personally when you're trying to schedule your classes. And then last is that 87% of our faculty hold the highest degree attainable in their field. So for those 87%, you know that these faculty members, they're full-time. They have put their effort and their sweat and their time into learning this material so that way they can teach you. For the other 13% that don't have the highest degree, I like to say that certainly they are qualified. If they weren't qualified to teach, we wouldn't have them employed at the university. But a prime example that I give is I actually had a criminal justice class when I was on campus, and the teacher was a retired Pennsylvania state trooper. He was in the force for over 20 years. So obviously he knew what he was talking about because he was teaching from experience rather than from a textbook. All
right, and this slide here breaks down all of our academic divisions. So all of our majors will fall under one of these divisions, we have the Division of Business, which business is one of our largest programs. We have a major for just about anything you can think of in business, from supply chain management, healthcare administration, to the traditional, accounting and finance and things like that. Most of our business degrees do have an accelerated MBA option. Some are as soon as 4.5 years, and we do have the traditional 5-year MBA option as well. Our Division of Healthcare, that covers our physician assistant and physical therapy programs. So again, 2 of our big programs here at DeSales. We have accelerated options for both of those, where it's a 5-year accelerated physician assistant program where you go directly into the graduate phase. And we have a 6-year doctorate of physical therapy program where it's a 3-year undergrad, and again, 3-year doctorate phase for PT. The Division of Nursing is, as you can imagine, just nursing. We had one of the highest NCLEX pass rates in the state of Pennsylvania 2 years ago at 98%, and we're typically above 95%. So we do have one of the highest pass rates in the state of Pennsylvania. Science and Mathematics, Division of Performing Arts, where we have theater, dance, and TV film. We have liberal arts and social sciences, and we have exploratory studies. Exploratory studies is our undecided major. So if you're not quite sure what you want to do yet, that's okay. This is a really great program for students who want to make sure they're making the right decision with major the first time. They don't want to be switching major come sophomore, junior year. So with this program, you still have an academic advisor who is a faculty member. You work with our academic resource center, and you work with the career development center. So all 3 of those bodies are kind of watching over you. They're pushing you to take a more intrinsic look at who you are as a person. What are you good at? What are you not good at? You have until the end of sophomore year to pick a major. So long as you do that, you still graduate in 4 years. And the other thing is, this has been our largest incoming freshman class major for the last 3 years. So if you aren't sure what you want to do, that's okay. There are a lot of students in that same boat.
This slide is actually a screenshot from our website. We had to hold a virtual open house in spring of 2020, and we recorded the whole thing. So that was a great thing about having it virtually. So if you go to desales.edu/open house, you can find all of these different categories here. So if you're interested in nursing, you can click on the nursing and find more there. Education, same with that. We've recorded all of the faculty presentations, so you can hear this information about your specific major straight from the faculty's mouth, and you'll know what you'll be learning. Also, we recorded the whole entire thing, and there was a student panel that we recorded. So if you want to hear questions like, why did you choose DeSales? How's the food? If I want to be a student athlete, how do I manage my time? All of those questions are asked in the student panel. You can find that on the website as well. And then a little plug, we do actually have a virtual open house this upcoming Saturday, and you can still register for it at desales.edu/visit. It's going to be a great day, so I hope to see you there.
All right, so obviously as you guys are looking for schools, one of the biggest things is you want to get a good job after. So we do have a career development center on our campus, and that's their whole job, is to make sure you're prepared to get a job after graduation. So this is the office where you go for your internships. The way we do internships here at DeSales is you can have a 3-credit internship or a 6-credit internship. It depends which one you choose based on the number of hours you're allowed to be at your internship for. And you can always have non-credit internships as well, just to get that experience over the summer or something like that. But with our internships, in that office, there's a binder of every internship done by a DeSales student, and it's broken down by major. So let's say you're a psychology major. So you go in there, you look through the binder to the psychology majors, see all the internships that were done, who that student's contact was, what they did at the internship, and whether or not they liked it. So if you see an internship where the student just ran and got coffee all day, maybe that's not the internship you apply for. Maybe you get one that's more hands-on or something like that. So it's always nice to have that insider information before you apply for internships. They have one-on-one career coaching to make sure you're making the right choice in career, and you're figuring out what jobs there are in a career field, because there are a lot out there. They do resumes and cover letters as well. They have networking events where they invite alumni and employers from the area to come to campus, either in job fairs or just networking events to socialize a little bit. But a great opportunity to get your name and resume out in the area, so that way you can start looking at jobs for after graduation. And they do grad school prep as well. So they really are the post-graduation office. So if you're thinking grad school, they do GRE prep, MCAT prep, LSAT test, MCAT, everything like that to help make sure you're going to get into the program you want to get to after DeSales.
So now, hopefully you chose DeSales, you applied, you got accepted. Now, what do you expect when you come on campus? And this is actually a picture from our orientation, which is the beginning of our Character U program. So at DeSales, we do orientation a tad different than some other schools. We bring all the freshmen on campus 3 days before any of the upperclassmen are there. So that way you can get acclimated to DeSales before your classes even start. You're not moving in on a Sunday and then having class on Monday and you have no idea where you're going. You don't know how to use your meal plan. You don't have any friends. We don't want it to be that way. We want to make the transition as easy as possible. So we'll move you in on a Sunday. You are split up into what are called pods by t-shirts. So it's easy to make friends because if you have a yellow shirt on, you see someone else with a yellow shirt on, you can go up and make conversation with them based on your t-shirt color, and then you have a friend for life right there. Also during the Character U program in the first 3 days, you're eating lunch with them, you're going to field day activities, you're competing in talent shows, you're earning points and competing for what's called the Dog Bowl. It's really just, again, to make the transition from high school to college a breeze for you, to make sure that you're making friends, getting acclimated to campus, and that you're welcomed into the DeSales community and the DeSales family.
All right, just some other things about our campus life and what students get to experience on campus. So we do guarantee housing for all 4 years. So as long as you're a DeSales student, you will always have somewhere to live on our campus. Even if 1 year you choose to live off campus, you can always come back on. All of our residence halls are suite style. So what that means is there's 2 rooms that share a conjoined bathroom. So you're not fighting over 2 shower stalls with 11 other students. It's always 4 students to 1 bathroom. In the freshman dorms, in the individual room, there is a sink and a mirror. So if you get ready to go to class one day and your suite mate is taking a shower, you can still get ready, brush your teeth, all that kind of stuff, and be out the door in time. There's a heating and air conditioning unit right in the room as well. So you and your roommate set the temperature, and it stays that way year round. Laundry is free on campus. You can bring a car as a freshman, and we have a cleaning service. So every 7 to 10 days, facilities will come around. They'll clean the bathroom and the sink and the mirror that's in your room. Treat them well. They treat you very well. My senior year, I was in one of the on-campus apartments that we have with 5 other students. We just asked our cleaning lady how she was, how her week was going, what are her plans for the weekend. Every Friday, we had some type of baked good, be it brownies or cookies, anything. They're really just here to take care of you, make sure you're adjusting well, like everybody is on campus. It's a very warm, welcoming community we have. The other type of residence hall we have on campus are called the University Heights, and those are townhouses. So with that, you can have 8 students in one townhouse, which is really fun because you get to live with your 7 friends and hang out. There's a big common area in the first floor, and then the second floor is mainly just the bedrooms. And like I said, there are on-campus apartments as well. We also have a full-time police force. So needless to say, campus is extremely safe. We were ranked one of the safest campuses in the nation. We actually dropped down in that ranking because we had an incident with a deer, believe it or not. But that was the most dangerous thing that happened on campus. Was there was a deer incident. So our police officers on campus are Act 120 certified. They have arresting power, everything like that. We do implement the blue light system on our campus as well. So like I said, it's extremely safe here.
Before getting into athletics, I just want to point out we did have a slide that we skipped on purpose. It is a short video, but we have a virtual guided tour that you can feel free to watch. If you go to our website, desales.edu/visit, and then scroll down to the bottom of that visit page, there is a link to watch the virtual guided tour if you wish to watch that, and then maybe come visit campus afterwards. In terms of athletics, though, we do have 20 Division III varsity sports that compete in the MAC Freedom Conference. So you will be playing teams such as Delaware Valley University, Stevenson, Eastern University. So schools that are kind of similar to our size, around 1,500 to 2,000 students, around the same size. But they're all the sports listed there. The one co-ed sport we do have on campus is esports, which is pretty recent. I believe they started that in the spring of 2018. So they are starting that program up, and that's up and running. But all of our teams are very competitive. Actually, our men's and women's basketball teams both won the championship in the last few years. I know the women's volleyball team is very competitive. They're in the playoffs and consistently in the championship. Baseball, same deal. They're consistently in the championship. All of our sports are very competitive and get a good crowd out to the games. And we have a very good community on campus where the non-athletes support the athletes and the athletes support the non-athletes. If you're not a varsity athlete, that's totally okay. We have club sports as well as intramurals. So intramurals run from September to April. They'll run all year. They change the sport each month, and they'll do fun different sports sports like flag football, indoor basketball, floor hockey, soccer, ultimate frisbee. Those intramural sports are really just for you to be able to get out, have some fun, relieve some stress, and take a break from studying. And they're really fun, and they're free for students as well.
All right, so looking forward, we're going to go through the application process now and some of the requirements that you need for some of our majors. First off, this is our application checklist. So to apply, we need obviously an application. It can be from our website or through Common App. So if you are applying to other Common App schools, just send us that. There's no reason for you to fill out more applications than you need to. This year, our university is entirely SAT optional. So for every one of our majors, we can just look at your cumulative unweighted high school GPA and use that to determine acceptance and merit scholarships that we would give. If you have taken the SAT or ACT though, it is encouraged that you submit those scores, especially if you're looking at a medical program. So that would be nursing, physician assistant, physical therapy, everything like that. We do encourage you to submit those if you had the chance to take them. We're then looking for your official high school transcript and 2 letters of recommendation, and those letters can come from anybody. So we don't require a guidance counselor write you one or a teacher write you one. If you have a coach or an employer or a family friend, that's perfectly fine with us. It just is 2 letters from non-family members that shed a little different light on you that may not come through on the application itself.
Here's touching a little bit more on kind of those requirements and those benchmarkers for students applying to our health science majors. So our health science is our 3+3 doctorate of physical therapy program. So if you're looking at physical therapy, you want to apply health science. It is a 2-step admission process as well. So you need to have those criteria, and then you move on to an interview round with PT faculty, and they make the final decision of who they let in. That is the same with medical studies. Medical studies is our 3+2 accelerated physician's assistant program. You need those benchmarks or 3.2 GPA to move on to the interview round. Nursing, if you have a 3.0 overall, but you're not submitting test scores, they ask that you submit basically a personal statement explaining why you didn't take the SATs or why you couldn't take the SATs if it was due to COVID. If you have those criteria, then you will be accepted into our direct entry nursing program. And then all of the natural sciences and the rest of the majors are looking for a 3.0 unweighted GPA as Jordan specified.
Okay, so now we're going to dive into financial aid a little bit, but it's always nice to have a starting point. So for us, with tuition, room and board, and fees, our total sticker price cost is just under $54,000. It's important to know that this is the sticker price. Most of our students cut this number in half, and that's much more accurate as to what they're looking at. But we do help to break down that price by offering merit scholarships. So like I said earlier, this year we do look at GPA along with your SAT score or ACT score if you were able to take those tests. There's 2 tiers to the merit scholarship. The first and highest one is our presidential scholarship. For students to qualify for a presidential scholarship, they need either a 3.8 cumulative unweighted GPA, a 1410 SAT score, or a 31 ACT score. If you hit any one of those scores, you're in this tier. So students in this tier are going to get a scholarship anywhere from $22,000 up to full tuition. So while you may qualify for a presidential scholarship, it's important to know that doesn't automatically mean you get a full tuition scholarship. They are very competitive, but it will at least put you in the running for one. If you're below any of those test scores or the GPA, you'll still get a trustee scholarship. These scholarships range anywhere from $8,000 up to $18,000. All of our scholarships that we're going to list off here, they all stack on top of each other. So you'll get a merit scholarship and anything else you qualify for. All that lumped together will repeat for all 4 years you're a student here. You don't need to do anything to keep that scholarship money other than stay at DeSales and progress academically. We don't have a minimum GPA or anything like that. So as long as you're still a DeSales student, you'll be good to go. But now Brandon's going to talk about some other scholarship opportunities that we have.
Yeah, so be who are and be that well, it's going to come up again. And as I said, we're big on building you as a person, not just an academic. So our character and leadership scholarship is totally non-academic, and it really shows how committed we are to building you as strong people. So this essay, or the scholarship, what you do to be in the running is you submit a 500-word essay. That's it, 500 words with a resume online by December 1st. As long as you do that, you're automatically in the running for a full tuition scholarship. From there, our student life committee reads our essays and the applications. They pick 25 to 30 of the best applicants to come on campus. Well, usually on campus, but this year maybe Zoom interviews. And then from there, 6 students walk away with full tuition scholarships all 4 years based on their character and leadership experience in high school. So you may be thinking to yourself, how am I a leader? I don't know what to write about. Well, dig deep. Everyone's a leader in their own way. So maybe you're a captain of a sports team. Okay, you're a leader that way. But what if you work part-time to help, pay tuition, or part-time to help your family out? That's also a leadership role there. Maybe you're an older sibling who wants to help the younger siblings with their homework, or babysit them while your parents are at work. That's also a leadership opportunity. Maybe you're on student government in high school. Maybe you do a lot of volunteer service. That makes you a leader too. So especially with COVID going on now and quarantine, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have shifted to virtual. I know, it's been hard to kind of find babysitters for some families and things like that. So really think about how you've handled this COVID situation, how you've handled things in the past, and how you really kind of exhibited those leadership qualities, and write about that. So be who you are and be that well. Write openly, write honestly about yourself. Don't say what you think we want to hear. Tell us about you, because that is what we want to hear.
All right, and then this slide is just the last one about financial. It does break down some other scholarships. So any student who attends a Catholic high school does get an additional scholarship of $3,000, in addition to all of the other scholarships we have. After all of that, we then look at the FAFSA, which is that free application for federal student aid. I encourage every family to fill one of those out. It doesn't hurt the students. The only thing it does is potentially get you more scholarships and more grants that you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't file it. So with the FAFSA, you can qualify for federal grants and federal student loans, which are really important because those loans usually offer better interest rates and better incentives than private loans. So it's really good to have that option to take those out. But then we at DeSales also have our own institutional grants. So if you don't qualify for federal grants, you can still get a university-based grant to help whittle down that cost of attendance. That's the only piece of money coming from DeSales that could potentially change over 4 years. Typically, most families don't hit the lottery, and it would take a substantial change in financial income for a family to lose that university grant. So it's another scholarship that, for the most part, is going to stick with you for all 4 years.
All right, and this is just basically a sheet with all your deadlines. So if you want to take your phone out and take a picture of this screen, I highly encourage it, because then you have all the dates that you need right there. Jordan just mentioned the FAFSA and how important it is. So October 1st is when it opens, so make sure you're filling that out. December 1st is that deadline for submitting the character and leadership scholarship that I just mentioned. And it is also our priority scholarship deadline. So at DeSales, for some majors, we do have an application deadline, which I will get to in a minute, but we are rolling admissions otherwise. So that means you can apply any time of year whenever you're ready, but we highly encourage students to apply before December 1st, have your application complete, because the way to think about it is like a funnel. We start out with a lot of scholarship money that we want to give out to students who are interested, who are academically eligible to get those scholarships, and we want them to come to DeSales. So we tend to give out more at the beginning of the application process than at the end, because we have less to give out at the end. So just keep that in mind. That priority scholarship deadline is December 1st. That's a really good date to have everything in by. Mid-December is usually when those financial aid packages are mailed out. So if you have your application in, if your application is complete, you're accepted, and your FAFSA is filed, we will start processing your financial aid package. And usually around Christmas time, we'll start sending those out. We send them out every week from there. December 15th is that deadline if you're interested in medical studies, which is the PA program or the DPT program. So make sure that all of your application materials are in before December 15th. And then May 1st is national decision deadline. So this is the date by which you have to submit your deposit to any school, but DeSales as well. If you want to come to DeSales, we're happy to take your deposit beforehand. That way we can reserve your spot in the class of 2025, and we can make sure that we have housing and everything's accommodated for you. But May 1st is that deadline if it comes down to the wire on your decision.
All right, so that kind of wraps up the presentation we have. All on this slide is all of our contact information. Being that all of the students here are from New Jersey, either myself or Brendan will be your admissions counselor. So you can always reach out to one of us. But this is the general admissions office. So any questions you have, you can reach out here, and they'll get you in contact with either Brendan or myself to answer any questions you have, whether it's about the application process or financial aid or just general DeSales questions. Anything you have, please reach out. We're more than happy to help you out. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Okay, so now we'll open it up to any questions. So using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, you can ask any question you have. If there's something you think we missed during our presentation or you wish we would have gone over, you can ask there.
I can get this first one, Jordan. So it says, how competitive is the PA program? So that's a really great question. On average, Jordan, I think each year we get between 200 and 250 applications probably for that. And then from there, actually, it narrows down to maybe they interview about 100 to 150 students or so based on the criteria. And then each year they look to bring in 50 freshmen, 50 incoming freshmen, so that way they can matriculate through the program. One disclaimer I do want to give is that at DeSales, if you come into the program and you're accepted into the physician's assistant program, as long as you keep your grades up, you are guaranteed a spot in those +2 years. So be careful when you're looking at other schools specifically for their PA programs. Sometimes they allow students to come in and they accept more than they actually have seats for. And then students are being very competitive with each other while they're at the school rather than being helpful. We won't kick you out of the program as long as you keep your grades up. You'll automatically matriculate into those grad school years. And that's kind of what makes our PA program kind of different from a lot of other places and more successful, is the fact that our students are sharing notes with each other, they're helping each other study, and they're friends rather than saying, I'm not going to help you study because you may steal my spot in 2 years. So again, it is competitive to get into that, but once you're in there, it's a spirit of community and working together and cooperation to make sure that you're all meeting the same goal of graduation and getting a job. But great question. Anything else? Before we get another one, Jordan, I mean, I know we're both alums, so maybe we should both kind of say why, we chose DeSales or what caught our eye about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, especially now that I'm out, and I see really how the quote unquote real world is, it became very apparent to me that a school is a school. So a degree from DeSales is the same degree you're going to get at Rutgers, is the same degree you're going to get at Harvard. You're going to learn the same information. It's the same curriculum to get that degree. So it's all about how you're growing as a person. DeSales does a fantastic job of growing you as a leader and building up your character, which in today's world are really important. And at the end of the day, when you walk into the interview, it's selling yourself. You're not selling your school or anything else. It's selling who you are as a person. So having a school that recognizes that, it can help you build that. That's really what it's all about for me.
Yeah, I mean, I second that. Absolutely 100% echo you there, Jordan. And I think I chose DeSales because I realized that early on. Like when I visited, during open house, it was one of those things where I realized it wasn't going to be just another number to the faculty members, to the other students. My tour guide got to know my name and stood in the back with me and answered my questions and made sure that they, held the door for me and again, treated me like I wanted to be there. It wasn't where, I showed up and they're like, oh, we have another tour. I don't feel like walking in, in the cold. I went for a tour in October and it was freezing, and they were more than happy to give me a tour in the admissions office. And I think that's what made the difference. The fact that they're welcoming and they want you to be there, not the fact that they're just like, oh, they're here, let's do our job. It's more or less, we can't wait to do our job. And that's everybody on campus.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of can't wait to do their job, I think it's important to note too that we are currently open on campus. So we do have our students back on campus. We have chosen to go with a hybrid model of education. So students are in the classroom getting face-to-face instruction 50% of the time. The other 50% they are learning virtually via Zoom from their dorm room, or a couple other study locations we had set up on campus. Campus has been extremely safe. This is our 8th week having students on campus, and knock on wood, we're doing very well. We don't have outbreaks like some of the larger universities or anything like that. Our students have really learned and embraced our guidelines that we have. So we do require masks on campus. We have plexiglass and things like that to keep our students safe. But everybody was just so happy to come back to that DeSales community, and they're really taking steps to make sure we get to stay on campus. So we're just really proud of our students for that.
Absolutely. And then building off of that, can't wait to do our jobs. Jordan and I are both alums. We're both very happy to help you with any questions. And we want you to build a relationship with us. It's not supposed to be, we give a presentation, we say DeSales is great, and then you apply, you get accepted, and then we don't talk to you ever again. We want to know about you personally. You know, are you an athlete? What are you interested in majoring in? What's your career aspirations? You know, we want to know kind of everything about you. That way we can build a relationship and kind of get you acclimated to this is what it's going to be like at DeSales. People are going to ask you a million questions about yourself, and you're just going to have to get used to answering them and telling them about yourself. It's the type of community we are. It's the type of people that you have on campus. And I mean, I know Jordan does a great job of that with his students. So North Jersey students, make sure you reach out to Jordan. He'll be more than happy to help you. I know I'm kind of volunteering him here, but
yeah, and I'll volunteer you too, because Brendan has been a great admissions counselor. Obviously, we're both recent alums, but he's been very good with connecting with students, understanding really where you guys are coming from, and giving a more personalized touch to what you guys need. So please, I mean, that's the same for DeSales as it is everywhere else. So any questions you have, admissions counselors are your friends. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to them or respond to the text message or email you may be getting. Everyone's here to help. We're not going to coerce you into coming to our school. It's about helping you make the right decision for you. But yeah, so if nobody else has any questions, I'll turn it back over to StriveScan.
All right, that's excellent advice. Thank you so much, Brendan and Jordan, and thank you for our participants for joining us today. Just as a couple of follow-up things, when you close your window today, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, again, this is just one of many sessions being hosted. You can visit www.njACAC.org/virtualfair. Sign up for more sessions, and that's also the same place that you'll be able to find the recording of this and other webinars. Thank you very much, and have a great day.